Thank you, Presiding Officer. The Rural and Island Action Plan contains a wide range of examples of how rural and island housing has been created and delivered, and this diverse and innovative approach should be welcomed. Presiding Officer, today I want to focus my contribution on the unique rural housing challenges experienced in communities across Dumfries and Galloway and the Scottish borders. We have many opportunities to make a difference in improving rural housing and encouraging people to move to our rural areas to address depopulation and to keep our rural communities alive and thriving. Such possibilities include the need to incentivise housing development on brownfield, vacant, abandoned and derelict sites, and to explore alternatives including accessible housing and accessible types of housing to meet the needs of our areas. Marie Curie's briefing ahead of this debate was useful in highlighting that accessible housing and adaptations to housing need to be made more quickly, especially for our terminally ill people. And I thank Marie Curie for their briefing ahead of the debate. And Mark Griffin, he spoke about population decline, and that is a real threat to the sustainability of many of Scotland's rural communities, and the lack of good quality and affordable housing is a key concern. It is crucial that we acknowledge that the Scottish Government alone cannot tackle the critical challenges of depopulation, and national, and I will in a wee minute, national and local government and the third and community and private sectors, they all have a role to play if we're to tackle depopulation collectively. I'll give way to Finlay Carson.
Finlay Carson.
I thank the member for giving way. Colin Smith mentioned the Convention of the South of Scotland having simply housing on the agenda. When we promoted the South of Scotland Enterprise Agency, Colin Smith also brought forward an amendment to promote the development of affordable housing to be on the face of the bill. Why did Emma Harper vote against that?
Emma Harper, I can give you the time back.
Thanks, Presiding Officer, for giving me time back. I'm coming to that, Mr Carson, actually, because I think it's crucial that when we're looking at what we need to do for housing, it's key that we look at how we're going to tackle depopulation. And this depopulation restricts the local labour supply and affects public service provision, as funding is typically population-driven. These were the reasons raised at a meeting that I attended with the Equalities and Depopulation Minister in Dumfries towards the end of the summer recess. And I welcome that the Scottish Government recognises the key role played by housing in supporting the successful delivery of its aims relating to addressing depopulation and wider population sustainability. However, in Dumfries and Galloway and the Scottish borders, in order to attract more people of working age, address depopulation and have good quality rural housing while ensuring Scotland's food security, we do need to think innovatively. Presiding Officer, there is a wealth of evidence and research, including from the Scottish Land Commission, which demonstrates that changes to VAT in construction, which is currently at 5%, and we know that VAT is reserved to Westminster, but if we change the VAT percentage, it could help to address rural housing challenges. The evidence shows that if VAT was reformed, we could renew and regenerate and rebuild some of these vacant, abandoned and derelict sites, and instead of using prime agricultural land, for instance, and we could use these vacant, abandoned, derelict sites which are a blight to our communities, and we could be changing these sites if VAT was reduced. And it also ensures our productive agricultural land is protected for national. I will take an intervention from the Minister.
Yeah,
Minister, briefly.
Just on that specific point, and I'll be very quick, in the discussions I've had, obviously with construction companies and developers over that period of time, the VAT figure has been raised. And that
Minister, could you address the front to the microphone?
And that 5%, I think, can be the difference between some projects going ahead or not. So it's certainly an issue I will pick up with Emma Harper after this and raise with the UK Government.
Emma Harper.
Well, that's good news to hear that, Minister, that I know that it's something that has been raised in the Chamber before when we've talked about vacant, abandoned, derelict land and what we can do about it. And we know that Dumfries and Galloway and the borders have more than their fair share of derelict sites. The former Interfloor factory in Dumfries, the George Hotel in Stranraer, the Central Hotel in Annan, the Mercury Hotel at Moffat, to name a few, and there's the NPL in Hoyk and the Glenmack building in Hoyk as well. And we know that published research from the Glasgow Centre of Population Health shows that neglected environments can contribute to mental ill health. So dilapidated neighbourhoods and abandoned shops or houses can make people feel unsafe, with rundown environments found to contribute to anxiety and persistent low mood. So I thank the Minister again for willing to speak to me about this issue of VAT so that we can encourage brownfield site redevelopment. One additional point, Presiding Officer, is our legacy of out-migration and depopulation combined with the challenges of Brexit and demographic change. It means that Scotland urgently needs the powers to increase inward migration. Scotland needs a tailored migration solution to tackle depopulation. That's why the Scottish Government has called for cross-party support for a rural visa pilot scheme, and the needs of Scotland are clearly not being met within the current UK Government immigration system. So that's something that I think we need to keep pursuing. So I'm conscious of time, Presiding Officer, and I think one thing I would like to ask the Minister is to explore an innovative company called Iron and Pine based in Dalbeattie, who are able to make bespoke types of builds for whether it's palliative care beds, whether it's accommodation for rural employees that might be coming just for training, but also that can be used for long-term housing as well. So I'll close there, Presiding Officer. Thank you.